Hello, guys. Welcome to another night with Heart to Heart Hub. And tonight we have conversation with Sheila Hart, who is a producer, voiceover artist, actress, writer, and much more. Sheila is a multifaceted talent with a hunger for all things creative. From music to theater to advertising to film, she has had her fingers in all the colorful pots of the artistic world. Sheila has been a voiceover artist for many years, voicing commercials and narrations for such notable clients as Walmart, Whirlpool, and Disney. Sheila is an award-winning actress and director who has written, directed, and produced plays as well as films. She recently played the role of co-producer for the feature film Unplanned, a true story with an eye-opening look at the abortion industry. Her love of Jesus inspires her daily life, and through following him, she is growing into the woman God has called her to be. And part of her calling is to bring other women to that same kind of relationship, one where they can become all they were created to be. When Sheila's not hunkered down in front of her computer, working on endless chapters of her epic fantasy adventure novel series, Journey to Abaddon, you can find her hosting soirees with amazing homemade edibles, snuggling with her two rescued chi dogs, and exercising chai. Oh, I did it right first time. And exercising her right to partake in the wonders of dark chocolate with almonds. Wow,
You
welcome.
make my life sound so much more exciting than it is, Stacey.
But it is. You just never see it. We never see our life the same way as other people do, which is really cool because hi, Arlene, welcome. It's really neat when I do these interviews, Sheila, because I get to know things I didn't even realize about some of my friends.
It's true. It's like, how long have we known each other? And you're like, didn't you grow up in Pennsylvania? I'm like, no.
Because it didn't matter really in our talks. It was kind of like, yeah.
No, we always talked about deeper things.
Yes, exactly. We were intense. So, guys, Sheila is she was my daily friend every day, more than once a day when I was staying in Hollywood because we really needed each other.
Oh my gosh.
Probably misses me there, and I don't want to bring that up.
Yes, I do. There's days when I just go, why isn't Stacey here?
I miss it too.
You got to come back.
Yeah,
sure.
I plan to. Yes,
please.
So, I will. We should come to Canada and go to Banff and Lake Louise. And
yeah, I love nature. You know that.
Yes, you like to go for walks. So it would be beautiful if we got Kananaskis.
You never went hiking with me. I just want to remind you of that right now. I'm trying to figure out how to. I'm a director, so it's like I always try to get the right shot. Okay, there we go. I think
I'm starting to leave the house. That's a good start, Sheila. We're getting there.
Yeah, well, leaving the house would be like the first step, like the man on the moon kind of stuff.
Exactly. When the weather's nice like it is there, it's easier. But let's talk about you. So you didn't grow up just in Pennsylvania. You grew up around different places. So share a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I was born in Philadelphia. And so I kind of got that East Coast vibe, people tell me. But anyway, but actually, when I was about 7 or 8, I came to California via Chicago, the slums of Chicago. I lived in the slums of Chicago for a little bit. And then my mom went, this is dangerous, so we got to get out of here. So we moved to Southern California, and I lived in San Diego until my senior year when I actually had to pull up roots and move to Florida and have my senior year in a totally new school where I knew nobody. So that was interesting.
Wow. Yeah. You've been a journeyer around.
I have been a journeyer. That's why my book is called Journey to Abaddon.
Exactly. You like a journey. Your mom stayed in San Diego, though.
Yeah, she's still in San Diego.
See,
we were in Florida, and she always wanted to come back. And so after I was already out of the house, they were like, we've got to find a way to go back to Southern California. So they came back.
Oh, awesome.
So
and I love your background, your heritage. It's
yeah. I'm kind of a interesting mixture. I'm half Russian Jewish, kind of like, that's the East Coast thing. And then I'm also half Puerto Rican. My mother's Latin. So
which makes her so special. She just has that vibe that comes from all sides of the family.
Yeah. It means that I can get mad real quick, but also it means that, I'm kind of frugal and,
very hard.
And I like lox and bagel, so.
Yeah. You work hard, Sheila. You said you put your all into things. I've watched and observed you for a few years that I've known you. I actually met Sheila through our kids. Her son Dallas and my daughter Kirsten and my son Crawford would hang out, and Kirsten's boyfriend was one of the group with Dallas. So
Yeah.
he moved me over one day, and I got to enjoy Sheila's edibles and homemade cookies. Really, really cool.
Yeah, because the kids, once like Kirsten met me and Dallas met you, it was like they were like, we've got to get our mothers together.
Yeah.
So
and they were right.
Happened. They were. Yes. They were. I mean, yeah. We
became really close. Because in LA you don't get to see people as often.
Yeah.
And so that was special that we could actually get to see each other, and we met weekly.
Sure. Yes. When you had that Monday night prayer thing, I was so game for it, because the one thing that you really need here in Hollywood is fellowship. You need people that you can walk along, that will walk alongside you, and you can walk alongside them, because it's very, the atmosphere here is very heavy. And there's a lot of, you see a lot of people that feel called to come to Hollywood, and they're like, I just feel called to be a movie star or something like that, and but they're like, I'm going to go to Hollywood and I'm going to, bring kingdom to Hollywood, and I'm going to, like make a difference. And then what ends up happening, they think they're going to change Hollywood culture through their kingdom, beliefs. And then what a lot of times I see end up happening is they start sliding down that slippery slope of compromise. And it's very easy to do, because it's very oppressive atmosphere here. There's a lot of principalities that want to take you out. So,
and for some of us, even those who walk closely with God, if we don't have fellowship, we can get really depressed, and start to get negative, and things come at you. So that's where Sheila and I really encourage each other.
Crying all the time. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. Yeah.
I was so thankful. I was so thankful for you, Sheila. Still.
Oh, I was for you too. I am for you too. Still. We got a little text group going where it's like,
yeah,
this is happening and this is happening, and oh my gosh, somebody give me advice.
Exactly. You keep me more up on what's happening in the politics in the LA and everything.
Oh well, yeah, Bev and I.
Yeah,
Bev and I, we're like into the whole political thing. Like, pray, Lord, that our nation, like rises up again to become what you call it to be.
It's all you ones who do that stand in, that makes such a difference. It really does make a difference. So I want to talk about, now I know there are highs and lows, but you had a dream to go to Scotland, and you got to go. So tell us a little piece about that.
Okay, so I'm writing this epic fantasy, medieval adventure fantasy novel, and it's something that I'm planning to turn into a TV series, kind of like a family-friendly Game of Thrones. So I've been writing it for a long time, because it's actually a story that God's given me to help me discover my own identity, and for him to like speak into me through the story. But I knew that it wasn't just for me, that it's for women all over the world to also help them to discover their true identities. And so this is a story that I'm super passionate about, and I really love storytelling. I've never written a novel before. I've written, short films, I've written plays, I've written some, screenplay type stuff, but this was so big, it's taken me a really long time to, write the novel. And I've always wanted, I actually did go to Barcelona because of the novel, because I wanted to study the architectural works of Antoni Gaudi, who has just like amazing, fanciful types of architecture that's based on nature, because he was a Christian, he was a believer. So, or I think he was like Catholic, very devout. And so I did go to Barcelona, so I fulfilled that dream. But I always wanted to go to Scotland and Ireland to look at the castles there, just for inspiration. And so I always said to myself, I want to go for like a whole month, because I want to like just tool around and drive through the countryside and and I want to see like every castle on the face of the earth that's there, you know, on that land. And so this was after we had filmed Unplanned in the spring. And I just thought, you know, I'm not getting any younger. And I keep talking about this. Why don't I just go ahead and do it? Even though financially it really wasn't feasible for me. And also, I was still working on Unplanned and I knew they needed me. But I thought I had made this decision before I knew I was going to be continuing to work with Unplanned. And so I just thought, I'm doing it. I don't care. I did end up having to cut off my Ireland part of the trip, but I thought, I'm going to Scotland. So, oh my gosh.
I was on the taxi.
I drove over, I think I drove over 3,000 miles while I was there in Great Britain and
Learning
Scotland.
how to drive in the car.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you want to hear this story because I was so devastated because, you know, of course you don't sleep when you have you have a long, long trip. I got into England. I've never driven on the left side of the road before with my steering wheel on the left-hand side of the car, or on the right-hand side, I mean. And the roads are really like old and narrow and everything. And so I thought, on my way to my Airbnb, I'm going to stop in Shakespeare's town where he lived because, you know, it's history. I wanted to see it. It was on my way. And so first things first, I'm driving. I'm trying to figure out my way around. I keep running over like little curbs because I just can't gauge like the distance. And, you know, I have this car where I can't really see over the hood to see like where the car ends. And so I was on this busy street in Shakespeare's hometown trying to figure out where I was. And then suddenly I hit the curb just right and my tire blew. This was within the first hour of getting into England. Tire blows. Of course, there's no, like in the United States, you got wider roads. You can maybe pull off and park to the side. No. And there was lots of traffic. So I pulled into this tiny little, you know, there was this parking place in front of this like row house or something there. And I wasn't supposed to be parking there. This gal that was behind me, she was Russian and she saw what happened. She knew it was going to happen because she saw me getting so close to the curb. So she pulls up, she goes, I help you, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, God planned this so perfectly. I was mortified. We drove around trying to find like a tire place. It was on Saturday and it was like 4:00 in the afternoon. The tire place was going to close at 5. And so we get to the tire place. They say, we can't come to you. You're going to have to get the car here. So it meant I had to change the tire to put the spare on. And so that girl and we changed the tire, even though like it was a whole different car. I didn't know where things were in the car. But we managed to get the tire on. And then she led me back over to where the tire store was. We managed to get the same kind of tire on it as what was on it before. So then I went, whew, okay. I made it through that battle. I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm just going to pick up some groceries. You know, I'm running behind now because of all this. And I'm just going to go to my Airbnb. You know, I'll go to the grocery store and then go there. So guess what? I pull into the parking lot of the grocery store. And because I couldn't really see where my front bumper was, I nicked the back end of somebody's car pulling into a parking space. I was so mortified. I was crying. I was bawling. I was like, this is what is happening to me. You know, like having 2 accidents in one freaking day when I haven't had an accident in like, I don't know if I've ever had an accident. So it was like the enemy trying to get me down because here's what happens, people. When you pursue your destiny, the enemy is right behind you and he is on the move. So every time it seems like that I'm pursuing my destiny purpose, something gets in the way. And I think I should be wiser about it by now.
Yeah, like it's like, yeah, because we get so discouraged because we're like, why is all this happening around me?
Right.
But then you're like, I'm using my voice.
Right.
And you're a woman with a voice because you've done so many different things. You also do music. We didn't even put that on there. And she's a really amazing song. She's written plays. Like there's a lot.
I used to actually have a contemporary Christian music ministry back when Mylon Lefebvre and Broken Heart. I warmed up for him. I warmed up for Russ Taff. I actually warmed up for Michael W. Smith when he was first starting out.
Yes,
It's crazy because that was like a lifetime ago.
All my heroes, Sheila.
Yeah, and Sandy Patty sang backup on my album.
Wow,
And Deep Green. It's like a whole different like life. But it wasn't glamorous. You know, like I say those things and people go, oh, if they're from my era, they would go, Russ Taff. Oh my gosh, you know, like, or Michael W. Smith. But it wasn't that exciting.
But you know what, Sheila, you're a woman that has so many things that you carry, and yet you're juggling so many at one time, and yet you are a perfectionist. I know, because I stayed with you for
That's my problem.
Transitioning, and I'm like, yeah, you're such a perfectionist, but it's a good gift for what you do. I mean, you need to have that. Like I'd be like, oh, there's nothing wrong there. Sheila, did you at 2:30 in the morning? Did you see that spelling error? I'm like, no. Or something's like
you spelled something or whatever. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask before we go into the Hollywood stuff. Did you grow up in a Christian?
My mother was Seventh-day Adventist, so I grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist in churches, and also from 4th grade through 11th grade, I went to a Seventh-day Adventist Christian academy. Wow. And so I grew up, you know, interestingly enough, because I'm half Jewish, I grew up with the Sabbath as being, you know, like a focal point of my Christian experience. So, and now I appreciate it even more because, I mean, when I look at the commandments, God chose 10 things that he thought were important, that he wanted to lay out as boundaries. And he wrote them in stone with his finger. Wow. And so to me, I want to pay attention to those things. You know, anything that he wrote in stone with his finger, I think is important, because actually the Sabbath is God revealed to me, like when I was in my early 20s, I was like questioning everything. I didn't know if I wanted to be Adventist or like there were things about it that I just wasn't sure about. So I just asked God, I just said, like, reveal to me, if the Sabbath is the real thing. And what God revealed to me about the Sabbath was that the reason evolution has taken hold in our culture, in the world, is because the church stepped away from the Sabbath, and the Sabbath is what defines God as creator.
John says so, too. My husband does.
Yeah. So what happens is, any area that leaves an open door for the enemy, he comes in and he changes it with his idea of what it should be, and he takes us away from the kingdom purpose, and he twists it all. And so that's what's happened. And now people don't believe there's even a creator, which is really kind of sad, because that's exactly, what Sabbath defines. Wow. There's no celestial element that defines a 7-day week. We have the sun and moon to define a day. We have the revolution of the earth to define a year. But we don't have, and we have the moon to define a month, but we don't have any celestial, sign that actually defines a 7-day week. Only the Bible. Only the Bible.
See, Sheila, I didn't even know. Look at that, guys. Look at something. We're here for scientific and spiritual training as well.
We'll do it all.
We don't know what we're covering. All the mountains. We call them spheres, right? So that no one's
influence. Yes. Yeah, we're just going to hop from one peak to the other.
Why not? Why not? So when did you discover you were interested in artistic things? Was that always?
Oh my gosh. I was always a little drama queen from the time I was little. My mom used to tell me that even when I was very little, I used to sing and dance. And I would, there was a cerveza commercial in Puerto Rico. I was down there when I was 2 and 3. And so she said I used to make everybody smile, I would sing the cerveza commercial. And
oh, wow.
So
it was just in your blood.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the voiceover you've done. It's really funny, guys, because I knew Sheila for 2 years, and I'm like, oh, well, so can you show me something you've done for voiceover? And so I go on her page and up, it's playing, and I'm like, oh, I know that commercial. It was really funny, Sheila, because I never met you. I didn't even know we were hanging out.
If you live in the United States, you've heard me.
Yes.
You've heard my voice. So, like, I've done things in the supermarket. You hear me always talking about forever stamps. But yeah, I mean, like I've done Walmart. I did the bus tour for the Disney cruise lines where I would tell them all the exciting things on the Disney cruise that they could experience, you know? And I did a few like Disney commercials and stuff. I did Walmart for Thanksgiving about, I don't know, maybe it was 4 years ago or something. And that was, oh, maybe it was longer ago than that. But yeah, I've done, God really like, it was interesting the way he brought me into voiceover. And that's something that really has sustained me. I've been doing that for over 40 years. And even now with COVID, it's like really hard to make a living, but still some of that voiceover is helping me get by.
Going to Scotland. You'd have to.
I was doing my VO in Scotland. And then when my internet wouldn't work because I was in some remote place, it was like I was crying then too. I was like, stuff happening. But yeah, I was doing VO in Scotland because, you know, in VO you can't really take a vacation. If you do, you lose clients. That's just the way it is, baby.
And you have to submit, but you know which ones are the quality ones where a lot of people who want to start.
Well, you know, when I have a client, it's like this. I have clients that have been with me for years, and so those clients, when they need me, I need to be there for them, kind of like that type of thing. And when I was on set with Unplanned, I would steal away at lunch and I would do the VO, or I'd get up super early in the morning when we didn't have an early morning call, and I would do the VO. Or I would do it late at night before I went to bed after I was just like exhausted from a day of hot Oklahoma.
And so, I love your little setup in your closet. You're walking.
Yeah. I do my VO out of my walk-in closet. It brings a whole new meaning to coming out of the closet. Whole new meaning.
It's so funny because when I was staying with her, I'd be like, oh, she was recording.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's good for sound. Shut out the room was big enough and protected enough that it would keep the sound, you know, less.
Yeah, because the clothes dampen the sound so that there isn't an echoey kind of thing going on, and that's what they need.
Tip for recording, guys. Tip for recording.
Yeah, little tip there. Or record in your car. Although I can't do that for my commercial stuff. But if you want to do an audition or you want to do like a podcast or something, the car's like the best place to go.
See, these are good tips, guys. You want to do.
Don't say I never gave you anything.
Yeah, you always give. You're a naturally giving person. Sheila, I got to be behind the scenes and I was in Canada, but praying for you. You made a big step, and I just want to bring this up to honor you as a single woman who stepped out and took a risk and put your own money into doing a short film that is so impacting. I just love it.
That was scary,
right?
Yeah, because financially it was like really, really tough for me because I thought I need this money probably to live on. And if I make this film, which was going to cost a lot of money, what if I end up homeless? You know, I mean, it was a big risk, but you know, you and a few other people encouraged me, and wow, I still have to take a really deep breath even thinking about that one because that was big. But here's the thing though, you know, like the very first film I made with a crew was a short film about teen pregnancy. It was basically a conversation starter. Here's what happened. I knew that with this big epic medieval fantasy adventure story I was writing, that I was going to need to learn. I had directed theater, but I hadn't directed like film with a crew. And so I thought, I need experience. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, at that time I had finances and it was a lot easier. And so I thought, God, you tell me what story you want me to tell. I said, if you want me to do this, then you need to give me a story idea. Yeah. And so this is kind of the way that I do it. If I'm going to make a film, I just ask God what he wants me to talk about. And that's what I do. And so this.
Yeah, but I get that idea too, and I haven't done a film yet. I write it.
You will. You will. You absolutely will. So we'll do one together.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome. So with this one, I did the same thing. I just said, God, what do you want me to write a story about for this short film? And he gave me the idea. And it's about a young teenage girl who doesn't know her true identity and is steeped in depression and can't seem to find her way back to joy, because there are memories that haunt her, and it seemed to be like a succession of things, one right after another, that just led her down a dark path because the enemy had his, hooks in her. So the way God revealed it to me, how to do it, it was like there was a house, and the house was her mind, and through each door in the house were memories. And so what happened was she found herself in this fantasy castle, where she was following, I don't want to give it away because people might go to see it after this, but she was following a little girl.
Yeah.
Put it that way. She was following a little girl. Go ahead, you're going to ask a question.
You picking out the actors for this, it was so important to Sheila. Everything, every element, I got to watch her gifts and to step in and do this and do that. And I was just really blessed by that, Sheila. To see, I didn't even realize all that you carry. And so when I saw this,
you don't realize what you carry until you step into it.
Exactly. You hear that?
Thing.
Yeah, you guys hear that? That's Sheila's word for tonight. One of those
words.
It
is. That's why you have to step into it.
I wanted to brag on you. You won. This is what's interesting, guys. We're at this prestigious film festival, and she's entered her film and her actors and all these things.
Oh no, are you going to get into this?
Yeah, and she won 9 awards that night for the film.
I think it was actually 8 because we were up for 8 awards, but 2 of them were for the same award and only one of them could win. So the mother and daughter were pitted against each other. Who's going to get best supporting actress, And
you got
we won 8 altogether, along with the, the audience favorite award. Yeah.
And she got Director of the Year. And also, she asked Kirsten to bring her song "Remedy," and they found quite a story behind
perfect.
Yeah, and beautiful. You guys have to see it.
You have to see the music video, people.
We're going to share the links in here so that
we will.
And seeing that video on the theater screen, yours, and then the music video, I cried because I was like, "Whoa!" Like the impact of the large screen is different.
It is.
In a TV.
Absolutely it is. It just really, yeah.
So sitting there that night and watching you get all these awards, I got to go there and see her do the red carpet.
You were part of it.
It was wonderful. But this is the kind of person she is. She's like behind the scenes. So the keys to her bed lost.
Oh no.
We actually, instead of going to an after party, we were there with my friend April from Canada here, sitting on the sidewalk till 3 a.m.
Right on the sidewalk.
Right on the downtown sidewalk.
So like 2 or 3 in the morning, because we were waiting for AAA, and they made us wait all that. I mean, like they made us wait for hours. But you guys were such troopers. You just didn't downtown LA by myself after I just won these awards. Everybody's partying, and I'm sitting on the street going, "Where's my keys?" I wouldn't have had my van if it weren't for the fact that I also, like a ninja, decided to offer to do crafty for the festival only because I wanted my actors treated right. Yeah. And so like I wanted them to be treated like queens and kings.
He was a director. And so this is the thing. If you were a diva, you would have left us with your van.
What? I would never have done that. Oh my God.
People would do that.
And I didn't need to go celebrate. I needed sleep. That's what I needed.
It was one of those nights that we'll never forget, singing Kumbaya downtown in the middle of the night. And then we had like a mixture of, ethnic groups hanging with us. And when the policeman showed up, the guy was out of there. He was like, I wasn't staying down here downtown in the middle of the night. He was like, I'm getting out of here.
My gosh. It was quite an experience.
It was.
For sure. Everything you do, Stacey, is an experience.
Yeah, it is. We've had some pretty amazing stories. So you guys, you want to see this Remember Me short film. I see Sheila doing a lot more. And she also does, but I've also just in my spirit been seeing like, it's going to expand out with, teaching, and she has a heart to help young girls and, those who are in these situations and deal with that. So check it out and give feedback, because it always helps to have testimonies, right? When we send the link, it helps to have testimonies. So Sheila, next I want to talk about, I believe, Unplanned. And watching
that's super important.
Yes. And watching, it was interesting, guys, because I was kind of like just sitting in the background, like I'm really an advocate of life, but I've never been public about it in the sense of standing up and saying, and so Sheila gets involved with the Unplanned movie, and she can share that about you, but it was with you, but it was interesting how, as it unraveled and I was watching, God was speaking to me about being more of a voice in this. So Sheila, I honor you for stepping in and having the courage and boldness to fight for this, and to, you just went all in. Like it was.
I did.
It was consuming the time, energy.
My gosh. I think this is why I'm suffering right now from adrenal exhaustion, because I went for 2 straight years of just like going, and staying up sometimes. I remember a couple of times I stayed up till like 5 a.m, working on like editing. And it was just like, it was madness. It really was. I never really stopped working.
No, you didn't.
No.
I
yeah.
And Sheila, I was going to say that you're not just co-producer, you were casting director, you were editing, you were shooting different things. Like you did a lot more PR. You did you were
you do whatever has to be done. That's the bottom line. So I created, or I produced a 30-minute documentary behind the scenes, so that people could kind of know more about how the whole thing came about. And that really was a good promotional element. And we'll have that link too, so that you guys can see that, because it's really interesting. I put together all of the DVD supplemental videos that go along with the Unplanned on the DVD. And I did a lot of work. I'm getting tired talking about it. And then I started trying to get it out internationally. And then that's when Stacey really stepped up to the plate. That is when Stacey I don't know, you just shined so bright. You rose up and you were like this amazing advocate over there in Canada. You had such a passion for your land. And you were on fire, girl. And you know how hard it was to get in there into Canada. But I mean, we were a force to be reckoned with.
We were a powerhouse team. Sheila, can you tell people, if they don't know about Unplanned?
Yeah.
Can you just give a blurb about and even how it did in the theaters and the impact of
Okay.
A little bit.
Oh, absolutely, because I'm passionate about this. So abortion, is just the Holocaust of our day. And it's so sad that even the Christian church has bought into it to a certain degree, because we literally, when we went out to try to market Unplanned, the evangelical churches basically turned their backs on us. We barely had any evangelical support. We had quite a bit of Catholic support, but we barely had any, even K-Love, the conglomerate radio station that is a Christian, like they thought it was too political of a topic, would not allow us, they wouldn't allow us to buy ad time on their stations. So they refused our money. And just about everybody did. The only people who accepted our ad dollars was Fox channel, the Fox network. Other than that, no, we were basically shunned. So what we did was we went around and we did like screenings wherever we could pull people together to do screenings to try to get the word out. And we called like every pregnancy resource center on the face of the earth, in the United States. And we just had we rallied to the cause, and we worked hard. Yeah. And there's still millions of people that don't know about it. They'll say, Unplanned? What's that? Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who say that, and you don't know what Unplanned is, it's the true story of Abby Johnson, who had an amazing transformation in her life when, after working for Planned Parenthood for 8 years and totally being sold out as a pro-choice, pro-choice advocate feminist, she was one day asked to come in and assist with an ultrasound-guided abortion, which they didn't normally do because it takes up too much time and then they can't get as many abortions in. But this particular doctor that day, he only did ultrasound-guided abortion so he could make sure to get the entire fetus out. So she was asked to facilitate the wand on the ultrasound. And it was a 13-week-old baby boy. And she had never witnessed this before. And when she saw the baby literally having this fight or flight response from the cannula as it was being placed into the womb, the baby was trying to get away from that cannula. And when she saw that, it makes me want to cry just talking about it. When she saw that, she realized that this was not a clump of cells. She realized that this was a human being. And her life was forever changed. And then, as strongly as she advocated for abortion, she totally flipped. And now she is one of the most sought after pro-life speakers in the world.
Just had a child, right?
Pardon me? Oh, yes, she's got 8 kids. Oh, my gosh. She totally went the opposite direction there. But she absolutely is, she's a firecracker. Wow. And she has saved so many babies just because of God's, And then, so it's a beautiful story. What's great about it is it's not a finger-pointing movie. It's a story of redemption. And, there's a point in the film where she just is crying over the fact that she basically helped facilitate so many thousands of abortions. And it really shows God's forgiveness for her and her ability to be able to, if she could receive forgiveness for all the thousands of abortions that she was connected to, then surely everyone can receive God's grace, because, just like Paul said, I'm the chief of sinners, and that's how she felt too. And so she really dispenses a lot of grace to those who, when we went out and we did screenings and stuff, there would be women who would come up and say, I had an abortion 20, 30, 40. One woman, I guess, had said she had had an abortion 55 years ago. This was before it was even legal. And so many of them said that they were finally able to accept God's forgiveness after seeing the film. So, a lot of churches that we talked with who kind of pushed us away and said, no, it's too controversial or whatever. They were afraid of hurting some of the women in their congregation who might have had an abortion or something like that. But the reality is that the film is freeing for those women, because there are so many women sitting. Do you know that over 60% of women who go get abortions identify as being Christian? Yeah. And so there are women in the pews, and in the African American community, 50% of women have had abortions. Wow. So you're talking, that is a huge number of people. You're probably sitting next to them every Sunday in church, or Saturday, depending on which day you go. But There I go again. Um, and they need to be freed from it, because a lot of times what happens is, this is the way Satan keeps them in bondage, is that they live with the secret
Yeah.
and they hate themselves because of the secret.
Yeah.
But once they hear the truth,
Yeah.
that is a forgive, because so many women probably think it's like the unpardonable sin, but it's not. And so this movie demonstrates that, and this is why I was one of the reasons why I was so passionate about the film.
Yeah. And you put
That
that
even men, grown
right?
men, were crying. I mean, even like we took it to Capitol Hill and some of the senators were crying. Ted Cruz was crying.
Wow.
I mean, and there was a man that came up who said, I helped my girlfriend pay for an abortion 40 years ago. So I've had death hanging over me like a shadow for 40 years, until tonight I was finally able to accept God's forgiveness and I'm free.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually had a woman that is very powerful. I actually had a woman in Quebec that couldn't speak English, watched the film, and she got up and she shared. I think I even recorded it on my phone, and she shared in French, and someone interpreted, and she said, I couldn't understand the words, but she explained her own story and how she saw that there was forgiveness in the expressions.
Wow.
That came through the movie, and that's what the movie is about.
Yes.
That's what I loved about it, that it wasn't like hitting people like you terrible. It was like, it was a mission to heal. I felt like I was on a mission. It was everything authentic to me, everything authentic to Sheila. Like, and the team was so small, like, and powerful. And every Monday morning there'd be like a prayer call, and sometimes like I would be so moved.
Yeah.
Heart.
Yeah, we had to put a lot of prayer into this. We had people praying for us. We had intercessors. Then once the film came out in the theaters, the intercessors kind of like, well, we think our job is done. And then it really started going bad. And we were like, please come back and intercede for us, because this is like, so, yeah, to me, that this is like, if I did nothing else in my life but Unplanned, I think my life it's would have been worth living, if that's all I did. But Stacey, I have to just say to you that you inspired me so much, because your passion for bringing healing to people is so deep and wide. And Stacey, she just like went all over frickin' Canada. And she didn't just go, well, here's the movie, and go and see it. I mean, she ministered to people. I mean, she went deep with people and really like loved people. And it was beautiful, because to her, it wasn't just about a movie. It was about people understanding the message of the film, and it not just about abortion, but about forgiveness and grace and redemption, even in the midst of our own failures. So
that was very important to me. Like, what comes to mind is a woman that had an abortion 50 years, and I was just 50, and I'm 51. She looked at me and I said, do you know how old I am? And she said 50, because she knew I was, and I said, yeah. And I said, hello, Mama.
Aww.
Arms.
It's so beautiful, Stacey. You're making me cry.
It's so beautiful, because I was released like from a daughter. Yeah,
Yeah. But see, that's your gift. Your gift is like helping people to feel like that they are worth it, that they are valuable, that no matter what they've done, none of that matters, that they are unique and intrinsically amazing. And that's why you and I get along so well, because like my belief system is that there's not a single person on the face of the earth who doesn't have greatness in their DNA. And so to me, it's just what I see around me is a lot of lost potential because of the enemy's lies that people believe about themselves. And then they go, oh, I'm not creative, or, oh, I'm not this, or, oh, I'm not that. Oh, I'm not beautiful. And I'm not, well, I do that too. But, I do. It's horrible. But all those lies that we believe about ourselves basically just keep us from that greatness that literally is built into our DNA. I don't think it's something we can even get rid of or lose. ever, because it's part of us.
Mm.
And so I think people just need to start practicing their greatness.
Mm.
You know, that's the thing. People need to start practicing their greatness. And
I
it
was
just
gonna say,
really means taking risks.
sorry, I was going to say back in 2017 when you were praying with me, and I allowed hatred in my heart, and I'd never allowed that. Um, and it just surprised me where I was at. I found something I
Mhm.
wrote.
Because you're not a hateful kind of person.
No, not naturally, and so
Yeah.
it made me sick and started to shut me down. But something I wrote back then was, I feel like a web in my head, handcuffed and in a jail cell. This is not living. I wrote that, guys. I
Wow.
wrote that. And that
Hard for you, Stacey. Wow.
was, it was. And that's when you were praying with me during that time, and the other people that love me were praying with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so important to forgive and to receive God's love for myself, so that
Mm-hmm.
I could release and come out of the prison, because it was such a prison. And even now I deal with relationships, and I just encourage you guys, like, I know Sheila does too. We have people around us that it's like, and people always say they're meant to sharpen us, like, like an oyster.
Yeah. You know, those sharp edges. Ow.
Yes, someone likes you practicing your greatness. That's so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see that.
We
Yeah.
for ourselves and we're on.
Guys, do it. Do it. You go for it. Practice your greatness.
Amen. Sheila, I was going to say, one of the most precious things to me is how we had each other there to pray when I was in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to thank you for that. You still pray with me.
It was an honor.
Yes, it was an honor for me too. And we just wanted our children to seek God, and
Yes.
everything coming
I
at them.
still want that.
Yes, we're still praying this.
We are.
Yes. I wanted to share about Journey to Abaddon, and then I have one more question after that, before we go to prayer and ministry. But
Okay.
could you share about Journey to Abaddon,
Yeah.
and maybe read a little snippet out of it?
Oh, yeah. Except for my phone looks like it's going to be dying soon. Maybe I'll just bring it up on my computer. Yes, Journey to Abaddon is a story that God dropped in my heart, that because I've had a struggle with my own identity, like identity issues all my life. When I was very little, when I was one, my mother left my father. She was afraid of him. And she went back to Puerto Rico with me from Philadelphia, and even his sister helped her escape. So what happened was he kidnapped me. When she was at work one day, he asked my grandmother if he could take me for a walk, and instead he had it all planned out. He took me to the airport to get back at my mother for leaving him. He claimed that she was an unfit mother, and put me with social services, and I ended up in foster placement. And so my mother was everything to me, of course, at 1 year old. And my mother had to fight through court to get me back. And so I don't really know how long I was in foster care, but it was a horrible experience. And since then, it's like the enemy has tried to use like men to like harm my own self-perception of my own identity. Because I never really felt like, my mother would even say things, it was a cultural thing for her. I don't think she knew that it was the wrong thing to say, but she said, your dad didn't want you. I think she was trying to just say, you're better off without him. But what she said was, your dad didn't want you, and, that kind of stuff. And so, intrinsically you say, well, don't daddies love their little girls? Like, isn't that what daddies are supposed to do? And so then you think, well, it must be me. There must be something wrong with me. So this is why I think I'm such like an overachiever, is because like I want to show everybody how valuable I am, and so I think that's part of it. And it really, if it comes from that place, it's coming from a place of fear and rejection, rather than from a place of settled knowing who you are and peace, and then it just it turns out differently, even if you do the same things. So anyway, God gave me this story, and it's about a young woman who doesn't know her identity. She was found as a baby, and she was taken in by this kind older woman. And when the older woman dies when she's like about 18, she ends up getting a prophetic dream. And that prophetic dream, she hears a call on her heart to go out and find out who she is and find out like what her destiny is. And so the whole book is about her journey of discovering who she is, and she ends up saving the world. So that's basically the bottom line. But I haven't gotten to that part of the book yet. I'm only on, it's a trilogy, and I'm only on book, well, I've finished book 1 and I'm releasing it soon. And then I'm in deep into book 2, but it's like really epic because there's all these provinces and all these families in the provinces. And what I did was each province has its own kind of like Achilles heel. So like one province, pride is the Achilles heel. And the other province, it's like insecurity is the Achilles heel. In another province, it's like jealousy. And so like there's each province has their own. So then the family kind of demonstrates, the royal family kind of demonstrates all the elements of what that does to the family. So it's kind of like an interesting study in character and personalities. But what's beautiful about it is you see a lot of people, either getting made or broken by the way they react to things. And someone said, can't wait to read it. I can't wait for you to read it too. I want to get it on Kindle. If anybody who's watching wants to read it, I will literally send you a digital copy of it just so that you can read it, because I don't know when I'm doing it on Kindle yet. I have to find time to get it pulled together for that. So yeah, it's an epic story, and there's a lot of spiritual truths hidden within the story, so that her journey kind of unfolds a lot of things. There's a lot of prophetic things that happen to people. There's she begins to rise up into who she is. And what's interesting, well, I can't say this. I can't tell you that part because I don't want to ruin the story. If I reveal what I was about to say, it would kind of wreck.
You're such a storyteller, you forget, you just like go right into
the I know. So, okay. So I don't know if you want, I can read it, but here's the thing. When I read it, I have to read it in my British dialect because it's medieval fantasy adventure. So get prepared for my British rendering. Let me just see. Let me open my little Kindle Create. And I'm going to have to put my glasses on. I know it's like, it just totally changes my look, but I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so let's see. It shows, the thing about the story is it's really dark. I just want you to know that in advance. Because it's kind of like a Lord of the Rings, but with a female heroine. So you see the battle between good and evil, and it's very intense. But there's also some beautiful, fun things too about it. And there's friendships, and there's funny characters, and all things like that. Okay, so she goes off on this great adventure. And hang on one second. I'm trying to find the chapter. Sorry, or maybe I'll just go to Instagram. Yeah, that's what I'll do, because I put some excerpts on my Instagram. I'm at She Dreams Big, just in case you want to go check out my Instagram. And I have tons of stuff about the book and quotes from the book in there so that you can learn more about it. But okay, so here it is. Hang on. So the name of the character is Willow. Hang on, I don't know which excerpt I should do, Stacey.
whatever one you want.
Either the prologue, which is kind of the beginning and it kind of sets up the whole thing. Hang on. Or I've got someone playing beautiful music right now in my living room. Where's my excerpt? Okay, there's this one. Okay. And then there's, hang on, guys, believe me, I'm coming. I think that's the one I'm supposed to read, because I can't find the other one for some reason or other, and it's supposed to be here, but it's not. So I guess this is what God wants me to do. Oh, here's the other one. Hang on. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to read the other one. Okay, so all right, so here I go. So the main character's name is Willow. She's just been set off on this adventure where she's supposed to be kind of like saving the day. She's afraid that if she doesn't make it to where she's going, that someone's going to die that she cares about. And so she's run into a terrible snag in the whole thing. Her horses run off. There was lightning. There was a huge whirlwind that was sent by the demonic powers. And, like it's a big bad situation. She's there going, how do I get to where I'm going? I don't know what I'm going to do. So this is where she's at right now. So here I go. Willow gave in to the grief with great heaving sobs that spoke the pain of all that had passed and bemoaned the dread of what was to come, until her eyelids at last gave way to the pull of her tired body as the rain moved on. Cold and wet, she lay there for a time, falling into the place of mystery between waking and endless dreams. No telling how much time had passed when a soft wind blew a kiss that awakened her before moving skyward on its quest to chase away the dark clouds, drawing them back like a curtain upon a grand celestial stage. And as she gazed up into that dome of dancing lights that carried the secrets of ages past, she felt so small and frail and alone. But she was not alone. For gentle on the night breeze came a quiet whisper, Willow. Soft and beautiful came the call, like the night winds whistling a long-forgotten melody. Willow. Mystified, she sat up and looked all round, but saw not a soul, nor heard even a rustle in the glade, save for the low, soothing song of a night owl chanting, Hoo, hoo. Thinking it a dream, she lay back down, soaked through with rain and tears. She thought of the tiny stone in her satchel and reached to pull it out. But finding it quite warm to the touch and glowing a soft blue, she dropped it and scuttled away in alarm. The stone lit up even brighter with an electric blue aura that pulsated and radiated outward beyond the edges of the clear stone, smaller than a pence. She edged closer, determined to understand the mystery of the only relic of her past, the only key to unlocking her birthright. So that's my little tiny excerpt.
Wow. Yay. I've got to read different excerpts too that you sent me, and I'm like, wow, I have to read the whole thing. I think you sent me something too, so I've got to get time to actually,
to read the book.
Yes, read the book. I need you to read it to me.
Well, I'd like to finish doing the audiobook for sure.
Someone said awesome British accent. Hey, you guys.
Very much.
Hey, you guys, if we're if you want prayer or word, it'd be good to see your names because there's a lot of Facebook user. I see Abigail and Tina, and I think Aaron. Your name's not showing up, and maybe Lonnie. So I'm looking on Facebook.
How do I even see it on my phone, Stacey?
Go into Heart to Heart Hub.
Okay, I'm in Heart to Heart Hub.
And then scroll down.
Scroll down. Okay. Okay.
Then you said the birds chirping in the background made it feel so perfect.
Okay. Yeah, there they go. Look at that.
People's names?
I'm scrolling down, but I'm not seeing.
I'm going to share it with you to I'm going to send it to your message, okay?
Okay, that's good.
And then you can click on the.
Like I'm scrolling. Well, actually, I'm scrolling. I don't know which way is scrolling up or down.
Okay.
Oh, you sent an attachment. Okay.
Yeah. And then you should be able to click on it. Just turn your volume down on your phone so it doesn't interfere with us.
Okay, hang on 1 second. It came here. Well, actually, it didn't. Where did you send it on? iMessage? Or on
Facebook Messenger?
On Messenger? Oh, I see. Okay. So here we go. Oh, there I am. Look at me.
So before we go into prayer, I just had one more, you've experienced so much.
There's a helicopter. I can barely hear you. So I see Arlene and Lonnie, Aaron, Barry. Barry! Stephanie, Teeny Red. I love the name. Bianca. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Now I see.
Good. We have to wait for that helicopter.
I know. It's so loud. I'm not that far from the freeway, and
yeah, I know.
Like schlepping around here.
So Sheila, I just want to bring up this last thing before we pray. You've experienced so much in your life. You only shared a piece of it. and you're such a brave and courageous woman. What I found most miraculous is that you, as a single woman, have fought to be independent.
I'm telling you, it's a communist plot. That helicopter. Okay. I heard something about a single mom. That's about all I could make out of it.
A single woman and a single mom, and you fought to be independent. There's so many women that I even met in LA were struggling, and I just want to honor you in that, Sheila. Like, and just what you give out to other people, and you just carry so much in the strength that God's put on your life and the impact you have. So I just want to, you know, if you want to share just a highlight of something that on your heart, that before we go into prayer, just to close off, sharing about yourself, because there's so much about you. Like, we never have enough time.
There's a couple of stories that I would love to tell, but I'm just afraid it's going to take too long. Maybe this one's the faster one, because remember the whole thing about the story about identity or whatever that I learned from the screenwriter guy. And then the other story is the one about protect the four corners of your tent.
Yeah, you should tell that.
That one, the four corners of your tent. Okay. All right. So here's what happened to me. You know, God speaks to me in various different ways. Sometimes it's through nature. He used to give me all kinds of, like, he used to give me butterfly, dragonfly wings. He's given me feathers. He speaks to me through all kinds of things. But one morning I woke up and I heard the words, protect the four corners of your tent. And I knew it was God, because, like, why would that, you know, unless I was having a bad dream or something, you know, like a weird dream or something. But no, I knew it was God. He said, protect the four corners of your tent. And I was like, what? So I said, God, I don't know what you're talking about. So can you explain it to me? Like, what are the four corners of my tent? And he said, love, mercy, truth, justice. And I went, okay. And then so I said, you're still going to have to, you know, like, make yourself a little clearer to me. So over the course of, like, maybe the next week and a half, he began to unpack the message that he was giving to me. And what he said was that he is the tent covering. And he's the covering over me. And that those four corners of the tent are the pillars of his character. And then he began to reveal to me over time that he said, you're reversing the order of my character, because so many injustices that happened to me in my life, I'm a justice person. And so I'm like, I demand justice because this is unjust or whatever. And I always love standing up for the, you know, the underdog or whatever. That's just not right. You know, like, so justice was huge for me. My dogs, hang on. Doggies! Shh, quiet.
They're tiny.
Sorry. Yeah, they make a lot of noise though. So he said, you're reversing the order of my character. And so he revealed to me that because I always wanted justice, like, that was the backwards way of God. He said, I always begin with love, then mercy, then truth, then justice. So he loves first.
That's good.
Extends his mercy, which warms people up, you know, the love and the mercy. And then the truth comes, that he's able to, like, release the truth. And then from that truth comes justice. And so it totally rearranged the way I had to think about things, because even with my injustices that had come against me, he was teaching me that I had been hanging on to pain, waiting for the justice. So, like, I was hanging on to pain because I couldn't let go of it until the justice came. And so he was teaching me that justice wasn't going to come until I could release the pain and begin to love. And so that really made a huge difference in my life, even with my relationship, like with my mom and everything. You know, like, I can remember just feeling really betrayed by her in a certain situation. And I was traveling down to San Diego to see her. And I was, like, asking God if I could talk to her and be open with her and just, like, you know, like, this is what happened. And, you know, like, you don't understand kind of things. Because I wanted her to see the betrayal and to, like, ask my forgiveness or something. I thought somehow that was going to magically make it okay. And God said, you have every right to be angry and to be hurt. He said, but you can hang on to your rights, or you can let me take care of it.
You went blurry, Sheila. Just a second. Can you?
Oh, he said you can hang on to your rights. You have every right. You can hang on to your rights, or you can let me take care of it. And I was, pardon my French, but I was pissed. I was not happy about that because I really did want to like let it out. But I didn't. And within about 3 months, my mother changed on her own. I mean, there were just things that she became warmer. She became, like there were things I could see that God had. Yeah, I mean, everything wasn't perfect. It's still not, but like it's different. So, yeah.
You just went blurry. So can
I did? Dang.
you get it to focus in, or maybe just move closer for a second because it just really blurry.
Okay. Is this good?
I don't know. It's weird.
I'm gonna have to just like clean off that there.
Okay,
it looks clear where I'm at. That's what's weird.
Just a second.
Okay.
Does that help? No, I don't know. It's weird.
It looks clear on my end. Like I'm looking at you. You look clear, and I look clear, and I don't know.
It went really.
Let me look. Let me look.
Hopefully, it started clear.
Let me look here and see if it looks like it on Facebook or whatever.
Someone said, "Wow, this is huge revelation." This is Erin. Love.
Oh no, I look clear. I look clear. Okay.
Good. That was weird. Sheila, we forgot to mention one thing about Dallas's song.
Oh my gosh, we have to do that
before we go into.
Okay, so I need you guys' help. I need you guys to be advocate. I can't turn this off. I'm like, how do I do this? It's like I'm trying to like. It's like I'm hearing us talking. What in the heck? Okay, maybe if I go like, let's stop it. Okay, there we go. Maybe. Okay. So I'm working on this project with my son. He is one of the actors on the Netflix original series Greenhouse Academy. He plays the role of Leo. So if you have like teenage kids, like between ages of 13 and 16, I mean, they're probably like Greenhouse Academy. Okay. So anyway, he is also a musician and a singer, and he decided during COVID that he wanted to like do a project for charity that would unite the world together. And he wondered like what would the Guinness Book of World Records was for number of singers in a song, number of vocalists in one song. And he found out the record is 300,000. And that's a lot of people in one song. It's held by The Voice in China, The Voice TV show or whatever in China. And so he's like, I'm going to break this record and we're going to raise money for charity. And he wrote this song called You and I. It's a really inspirational song that, gosh, I'll have to give you the, wow, I'd love for you guys to learn more about. Oh, there is an Instagram, even though we haven't been posting on it yet, but it's called the You and I Project. And we are right now we're trying to raise administrative funds just to be able to like do the production. I mean, it costs a lot of money to do that. And so we're trying to get like corporate sponsors and stuff. But what's going to happen is we're inviting fans of Dallas's and some of his friends who are influencers. And Kirsten, Stacey's daughter, is singing on the song too. And so they're inviting they have all these influencer friends who have huge following, and they're going to invite people from all over the world to join in on the song and break the Guinness Book of World Records. And then the proceeds from the streaming of the song and when people purchase the song on iTunes and stuff is going to go to feed the children and charity water, so that it'll make a real difference in the world. And so that's a huge thing that I'm working on right now. And would love for you guys to be advocates for that, because we need to be able to get the word out. And yeah, if you know of corporations that might be willing to, like donate, we're doing live stream kickoff event in September. I wish you could be here for that, Stacey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't make me feel
bad. And we're going to live stream that, and they can put their commercials on there and have products at the gift suite and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
Put the Instagram link in the comments there.
Yeah, let me, how do I do that here? Is it in the chat?
Yeah, right there on the chat. You can type it in. It'll go in.
Okay, so it's called. It's just at. Hang on, let me put my glasses on so I can see. At you, the You and I Project. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that up there. Is that where it is? It right? Did I put it where it's supposed to be? Do you see it? Okay.
No, it's probably in my Facebook group.
Oh, it's in the Facebook. Okay, so let me just do that.
Let me just look.
So yeah, at the You and I Project.
Yeah,
I think I spelled it. I think I spelled it right. Even though we're going to start posting soon, but we really haven't posted on there yet. But if you could follow the You and I Project, then you could be up on all of the latest stuff going on. We're going to be live streaming at another event from my home. We've got built a stage back there, and we're going to be live streaming with some artists on August 2nd. And
isn't Bethel going to the Bethel?
Bethel worked on the tracks for the production. And we have a company called Signature Tracks that Kirsten's also working with them. You know that, right? Yeah. So we connected them up, and he really thinks Kirsten is amazing, and of course she is. And so yeah, it's I really think it's a God thing, because think about how the word together has changed so much since COVID. I mean, we really don't get to be together except for like this, like on the screen and everything, which is just isn't the same. And then it's what?
You can sing the first line of the chorus.
Oh yeah, it goes, you and I. Wait a minute. I'm listening to the piano. The piano's playing. It's kind of throwing me off.
What if you
and I could change the world together? What if you and I? Yeah. So it's very inspirational. And it's a beautiful, beautiful song that talks about unity. And right now, not only COVID, but with what's going on in our world, where just like we're being pitted against one another, and we're being so like having to take sides or something, when we have so much more in common than we have, like that we don't agree on. And so this I really think it could be like a healing song for the world.
Yeah, I think so too. It's really exciting, and I'm glad that it's just really beautiful to see Dallas do this, because we've been praying for Dallas for years together. She's been praying his whole lifetime, and for him to get a download of this direction is really exciting to see. So just even praying for encouragement for all the pieces to come into place.
Yeah, right now financially is like a big, huge prayer request. We built the stage, and that cost, and then we had to get a sound system. We thought this investor was going to be coming through with funds to cover that, and now like my credit card bill's coming due in July, and I'm like going, all right, Lord, I bought this picture. I have to get it.
Okay, I'll be right back. All right. Oh yeah, it's true. It does remind you a little bit of the Coca-Cola song, Erin.
Yeah, for sure. So I got this sign. I don't know. Maybe it'll be backwards where you're at. But it's God He provides. And I got that because I've been, kind of going, Lord, how is this going to work out? But I'm doing the risk thing, I just like maybe I take too many, but where God guides, He provides. And so, I mean, this is a testament for you guys to think about too, Yeah. So.
Let's turn my mic off for a second. Let's go into prayer for everything. Thank you, Sheila, for everything. Like, it's so wonderful to spend time with you. Everybody else, I miss you too. We have a girls' hangout tonight. So what we do is we just pray, or if you get a prophetic word for somebody. So are you able to see the names in the Facebook group?
Yeah, I can.
So Father,
I'd love to just pray like a blanket prayer over people in relationship to identity, because it is so huge. And so if you don't mind, I'll just kind of
whatever you feel
with that, if that's okay.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, so Lord, here we are, you're women, and you birthed us through, like a human womb, but you were the one who formed us there. And you had such great plans for us from before we were ever born. And you did instill greatness into each one of us. And I just pray that each person that's on this, this Facebook, what do you call it? Podcast, would receive a vision of their true identity, that you would even give them maybe a new name that's something that they can identify with, that actually like defines them as you see them. And so, God, I just pray that you would begin to raise them up to become the women that you've called them to be. That I cast down fear, and I just say fear is not their God. Worry is not their God. You are their God. And I just proclaim that from this day forward, they are going to step out into their destiny purpose, and that no matter what comes their way, that they're going to recognize who they are and that they are unstoppable, because you are the one who's leading the way, and where you guide, you provide. And so, Father, that doesn't just talk about financial provision. So, Father, we're just asking for provision on so many different levels. Provision for courage, provision for understanding and wisdom, provision for the love, like putting your character in proper perspective with love, mercy, truth, and justice. Lord, I just pray that peace would overcome them, so that any rocky places in their lives that they're dealing with right now would turn into smooth places. That even as they climb the mountains, which, kind of can be tedious, and sometimes it feels like you're not going to make it to the top of that mountain. But Father, I just pray that you'll give them that extra little push up the mountain, so that when they get to the top, they can see the beauty of where they've come from, and they can see to the other side of that mountain and see where you're taking them into the promised land. Father, I just pray that they won't be afraid of the giants in that promised land, that they will see the fruit of the land, and that they will claim it for their own. And I pray that it's not going to, I just declare that it's not going to take them 40 years to get to their promised land. If the Israelites would have, gone straight there and not been, grumpy people, they would have been able to make it in 11 days. And so this is the acceleration that I just want to pray over these women of God. And I just want to say that acceleration is going to come with everything that you need: the finances, the wisdom, the inspiration, everything that you need in order to carry out your true destiny purpose. And it's never, ever, ever too late. So, Father, I just pray that you will go before them, that you have their backs, that you will walk on either side of them, that you are under them and that you're over them. You're completely surrounding them with your presence, and that they will not be able to, they're going to be in that bubble of your presence, even as they go into the valley of the shadow of death, and get through to the other side to their victory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I have my, it's like Zachary, amen.
Yay, Zachary.
Yeah, he's sleeping. John slips out for tennis. I'm going to do my live. So sometimes I end up with Zachary in the middle of the live. It's like trying to be so professional.
That's so awesome. No, like these kinds of things aren't supposed to be all pro.
It's so funny. But Sheila, you and I have, we met.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Exactly. We met at really low time in both of our journey as moms, and learning to let go. And so it's just really, it's
a journey of letting go. Yeah.
See how God has done a great work in both of us. And Unplanned was a big identity shift for both of us.
It was.
Yeah.
It was, but that's what God is so good at, is he'll take one thing and he'll bless a gajillion people with it in different ways. And so, yeah, you're right.
Well, what else do you have to share? We have a few minutes.
Oh, we do? Oh my gosh. Well, then I'll share that whole identity thing.
Yeah,
that's powerful. That's powerful. So like years ago, because I'm a writer, I went to a writer's workshop for like screenwriting. And what happened was there was this guy there. He didn't even know. He was a secular dude, just like this script writing guru or whatever that would help people with their scripts. So he came to teach one of the workshops, and he totally transformed my thinking with this workshop. And what his workshop was about was taking how to form your hero character in your story, whatever stories you're telling, whether it's a novel or a play or whatever. And so he said, you always have to take your hero from their fake identity into their essence. And then he kind of explained it. And he said, you, over time, from the time you're little, you begin to build this fake identity. And it's all based on negative experiences that you have. So like, let's say you're playing with your friends and they make fun of you for doing something. Then internally, you internalize that. You don't actually say it. You may not even literally think it, but you internalize it and you go, oh, I can't do that because I don't want to experience that again. And so then you think I have to change myself so that because if I do that, I'm going to get laughed at again. So those are the kinds of experience. Or if your mom yells at you or whatever, or if, like something bad happens in your life, you go, your natural instinct as a human being is to try to avoid anything that's going to be negative. And so what ends up happening is we end up not having that innocent essence anymore of like who we were designed to be. We end up changing in order to protect ourselves. And that's the whole purpose of your fake identity, is to protect you. And the whole purpose of the identity is to be invisible. You don't even know that it's there. You don't know you're creating it, but it's kind of like an armor that you're putting around yourself to protect yourself from anything negative happening to you. And so because of that, you can't really live fully as who you truly are, because you have to put on this fake armor to keep from being hurt or rejected or whatever. So, so what ends up happening is you have to frame your hero character in such a way to where they've got this fake identity that they're dealing with. They don't even know they're dealing with it. This is just me. This is just who I am, and this is me. This is the way we think of ourselves. But then what happens is you have to take them into a situation where there's a chink in the armor of that fake identity. And then all of this like brilliant, glorious light comes out that shows who they really are. And then they're like blinded by it and they go, no, that's not me. That couldn't be me. That's not who I am. Because they just can't imagine themselves as being, this essence of just like such beauty and wonder and fantasticness. And so, but here's the thing, even though they don't believe it at first, they will never be able to look at themselves the same way again because they caught a glimpse of who they truly are. And so once they catch a glimpse of it, they try to shy away from it and turn away from it and say, no, I can't aspire to that. But what you have to do is you have to take them down the line in the story to where they have to be in situations where their essence is the only thing that's going to get them through it. And so that, to me, when I heard him talk about this, I thought, that's how I want to live. I want to live in my essence. I don't want to live in my fake identity where I just go, hi, and everything's great. And, all of that kind of stuff where we just put on this show for the world, but we don't ever let them see. In fact, when I used to direct plays, I would tell the actors, I would, be coaching them in their role or something. And I would be like, I bet you that when you're at home and you're doing it in front of the mirror, you go all out and all the emotions just come out and it's just like the essence is there. But when you're in front of somebody, you got that fake identity, it comes up. And so you can't really play the role with the power that you can when you're all alone and you're okay with yourself. And so to me, if people could if they could recognize the fake identities that they put on, and if God could free them from that, oh my gosh, if we could live in our essence, can you imagine the things that we could accomplish? It would be so amazing. And so I would encourage you guys to just ask God about your essence and what it truly is, and let him reveal it to you. Like literally just in the darkness of the night, just ask God to reveal to you what your essence is. And he will. He will. I can remember reading Waking the Dead or The Divine Romance or something like that. Eldridge. Is it Rick Eldridge? It was
Eldridge? Is it John?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's John Eldridge. Okay, so I remember he was talking about like asking God for a name. And I remember asking God for a name. And I think this was before I was writing that story. And he gave me the name Princess Warrior.
Mm.
And I just loved that name. And now I'm writing this book where it's basically, the main character is has to become a princess warrior, So just like God wants to tell you who you are. You just have to sit and take time to listen to him. And what you are is amazing, and he's going to affirm that in you. So
Thank you, Sheila. I remember when you shared that story with Charisma. She was going through a real identity time in Hollywood, and she was 17, and it was like really on which way am I going? Like, and we had her birthday party. Sheila was on the phone, and all Charisma's friends are sitting in this room, and Sheila's given this word about identity, and she's reading Charisma's mail, like right out. And Charisma said it was so exact, but she was at a place at 17, like, I don't know if I want my friends to hear this, but it was so interesting how it impacted. But then you gave it to her again later.
Yeah, I wrote it out. Yeah.
And it really went deep. It went really deep. And it also helped her make
my destiny purpose. Yeah. What God told me when I was writing the story.
I'll be right back. I have to grab Zachary. I'll be right back.
Okay, all right. So what God told me when I was writing the story is he said, my daughters need to know who they are, and I want you to tell them. And that made me cry because I thought that's a huge responsibility and such a privilege. And the fact that he would honor me with something so huge was like, it overwhelmed me, but it was beautiful. So yeah, I mean, like, you are not scullery maids, you are royalty. And until you really believe that in your heart of hearts, you're not going to be able to totally fulfill your destiny purpose. Like, I think so many women are like the Marthas. I'm a Martha. I'm a doer. Oh my gosh. I am such a doer. I'm always like, I'm going to cook. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to like whatever. And my hands are on everything. And it's really hard for me to rest. But so many women are happy with just saying, okay, I'll just like do all these things and I'll just be the quiet in the background or whatever. And I'll do the dishes and I'll clean the house or whatever, which is totally like amazing. There's nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever. In fact, I say sometimes greatness is being a mother who instills greatness in her children who grow up to do like amazing things. So greatness doesn't always mean that you're going to be out in front of thousands of people or millions of people, or that you're going to be known and famous or anything. Greatness is a state of being. It is not something that you do. Greatness is how you respond in situations. Greatness is knowing who you are. Greatness is in helping others to discover who they are. That's what greatness is. We just have to define greatness differently. But yeah, I just want to encourage you that you don't have to eat the crumbs off the table, that you can sit at the head of the table and receive your royal place. And to me, royalty is not, like someone who gets waited on hand and foot and gets manis and petties and, wears expensive clothes. To me, royalty is someone who gets their hands dirty and is in there because to me, royals are responsible for the kingdom that God's placed in their lives. Like, you have a kingdom, you have a territory that you're in charge of. And so as royalty, it's your opportunity and responsibility to cover your kingdom with grace, with love, with peace, with humility, and all the gifts of the Spirit. So everybody that comes in to your kingdom property is under your spiritual authority to be able to bless and to make sure that they're well cared for and they're advocated for. And so, yeah. Are you there, Stacey? You got your little Zachary. Let me think if there's anything else that God wants me to like impart to you. Yeah, I mean, the royal thing is just so important. And that you are so valuable. And that you have a purpose. And God wants to dream with you. He wants you to dream with him. I think we lost Stacey. There she comes. And he's got his bottle.
He couldn't find his bottle, and then I couldn't find it. I have to go 2 stories.
Oh, Zachary!
Zachary,
how are you? You got pretty eyes.
You say hi?
Hi.
I'm out of breath.
Oh, I bet. Chasing after the little one, you know, like
identity change
anymore.
Yeah.
Mine's 25.
Guys, it was so wonderful tonight, Sheila, just to spend time with you, and thank you for sharing that, because that's the key thing and nowadays is who are we?
Yeah.
You know, at our ages, you look young for your age, I won't tell everybody, but at our ages, we can get comfortable.
Or we just think, oh, well, this is just like, that I've lived my life or whatever, you know, but no.
Like it's too late for me. Well, I had my time, and no, God has life so much more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, I wrote this screenplay called Just in Time. And it's about this woman who's like in her 40s. She's got a teenage son, and her son and her husband get killed in a car accident on their way back from like this NBA basketball game or whatever. And she thinks her life is over. She had always dreamt of being an artist. But what happens is she goes into this very deep depression, and her sister just kind of tries to snap her out of it. She ends up going back to college and has antics because they put her in a dorm room with, you know, like 20-year-olds because they didn't realize the age thing. And so she rises up to become an artist. And I just felt what she did was that really helped her was she had to write this paper on for something, and she went and studied how all the major artists that you would know from like the Louvre Museum and everything actually painted some of their greatest works in their 80s.
Wow. Come on.
And so when she discovered, because she thought it's too late for me, you know, when she discovered that some of the most famous artists did some of their greatest works in their really later years, she was like, oh my gosh, it's not too late. And it really inspired her to like be able to, you know, like blossom.
That's awesome. Let's close out tonight praying for dreams to be ignited.
Yeah, because I'm sure that each of you have had dreams that God's placed in your heart, but maybe you don't recognize them as being from God. You just think, oh, this is just a fanciful thing, or this is just like, I'm just stupid for dreaming this or whatever. But to me, dreams are so important. This is why I came out here with my son when he was like 16, even though like all the people in Michigan were like going, they were going, you're taking him to this dark place and all this kind of stuff. But I really felt called, you know, I really felt called to come here, even though it was kind of scary. But God told me, he said, even if he strays, he will return. And so I went, okay, I'm going to hang on to that promise. But and now, you know, like he's been on a Netflix original series. His music is really starting to like take off, and and he's going to have an opportunity once he really comes in tune with his kingdom purpose. Like right now, he's still not like fully like walking with the Lord, but he believes in God. And so when he does, oh my gosh, he's going to have such an opportunity to influence so many people. So, like, it's never too late. Dreams are never too big. That's why my name on Instagram is she dreams big, because that's what I want to inspire women to do, is to dream big. Like, why not go for broke? What's the worst that can happen? You can fail. And then when you fail, you actually learn things from it that help you go on to the next dream and expand on it and just get better. Like failure just makes you better at succeeding the next time. Sure. So you can't be afraid.
Dreams too, Sheila. I'm actually stepping into uncomfortable doing things.
I love it. I love it. You have to do it. She was all, okay, so I'm gonna let you in on something, girls. I was gonna say guys. I always say guys, but I was gonna let you in on something. Like, before we started, she's like going, I always get so nervous, and I'm like, what? Like, Stacey's just like such a natural at this, because she's got the Holy Spirit, and you're like, what more do you need than that? And you're a minister, Stacey. That's what you are. And you're a writer, and you write music, and you're an amazing prodigy on the piano, and you're so gifted. And to see you stepping out, like when you started stepping out during Canada Unplanned, I was like, oh my gosh, she's totally going for broke, and it was beautiful. And so what you're doing now is beautiful. That's why I'm so privileged to be a part of it today. So thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. I love you so much.
Love you too.
Do you want to close us out in prayer?
Sure, Lord. I just seal up everything we've been talking about. And I pray that even now, I just sense the dreams are beginning to come to life in the people that are watching this right now, and the people that are going to be watching it down the line. And so, God, I just ask you to ignite those dreams and light them on fire. And I just pray that these women will be unstoppable, that nothing will be able to quench the fire of their dream, and that they will be a light on a hill, just like you've called us to be, that they will be salt, that they will be a city on a hill, shining bright for the whole world to see, that as they live out their dreams in you, that you will ignite them with a fire and a flame that will impact many, many, many people. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Girls, you're so fun to have on tonight. And thank you for your interaction. It means so much to hear your hearts. And I love that. I didn't know I had the option before to put the comment. So that's really exciting for me. I'd like to learn some more of the options I have on here. Yeah. So thank you guys for showing up. And I love you guys. And I'm excited to see where God brings each of these interviews. And Sheila will have you back sometime in the future.
Some other time. But definitely put the different links in there so that you guys can go see Remember Me. You can see. Oh, you did already?
Yeah, but I'll put them separately.
Oh my gosh. Okay. There was one other thing I wanted. Oh, I did put the You and I project there. So if you go there, our website isn't up and running yet, but it will be soon. So
you guys can always ask me, if you forget or can't find it. So
all right, sounds good.
Love you. Love you.
All right, love you. Take care.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.